Hey guys, welcome to the We Need to Calm Down podcast. I'm Devon,
And I'm Joe.
and this is a show where we talk about all things Taylor Swift.
That's right. This is the show where two friends finally get to let their dedication to our Lord and Savior, Taylor Swift, fly.
We'll be discussing everything from song breakdowns, Taylor news, and our insane fan theories. How have you been?
Dude, it has been a long year.
Already! And we're in the
This is the
third,
second week.
second week? Is it only
Third?
the
Is
second
it the
week?
third week?
I think it's the third. Today's the
It's the
18th.
third week? Who knows?
Yeah.
Literally, who knows?
I literally forgot the inauguration was this week until yesterday.
Yep.
I was like, oh yeah, that's something.
Yep. I think Fall Out Boy is performing. Demi Lovato is performing. They announced Garth Brooks is performing.
Are they
Which is an
doing
interesting one.
like virtual? Like,
I have no idea.
because they're doing the actual ceremony, I think, in person.
Yep. Yeah, I
Which
know
is
that.
crazy for me.
I don't know, like I don't know. Honestly, I haven't done a lot of research into it.
Mhm.
Like it, I'm excited about it. I read that my friend sent me a thing about Fall Out Boy that like Pete Wentz's parents met
Yeah,
at a fundraiser
campaigning.
for Biden as a senator. So I'm like, all right, so I wouldn't have had Fall Out Boy if it wasn't for Biden. All right, that's fine.
That's like, there's a bunch of like conspiracy theory type things online, like, Joe Biden is the reason Fall Out Boy exists, and it is. It's like it's so
It,
crazy.
in a way, I love
Hmm.
that. I love that. That's so
Yeah.
funny. So but this is a new year. So I guess like before we get into today's episode, I want to ask, because I feel like we're on a podcast, it's just a thing we should do. What are your New Year's resolutions this year, Devin?
New year, new me. No. So I was reading about resolutions and all that, and I really don't like the term resolution. There's been a lot of like focus and shift change towards, instead of that, using New Year's intentions. So it's, I'm going to set my intentions to do X, Y, and Z. It's just kind of like setting yourself up to become flexible with it a little bit. So
Mm-hmm.
that way you're not just kind of boxed in, or you feel bad when you break your resolution up 2 months in, because that's what I
Yeah.
always do.
That's actually really interesting that you say that. I did a different pod with a friend, and she mentioned the same thing of like she doesn't do New Year's resolutions, she does themes for the year. So instead of like being hard and fast set to something, you just make it a theme, like movement, like traveling or
Mhm.
exercising or something like that. So like it's a little more lenient what you're doing, and you can look back at like, oh, 2020 was the year of, well, not movement, but
I like that, because I think it's hard when you don't set any kind of goal for yourself, because then I feel like you go through the year and you're like, what did I do that year? Like, what did I actually
Mhm.
accomplish? And I feel
I
like
feel
I've
like
done
once
that a lot.
you complete school,
Mhm.
the years are all the same, because like at least when you're in high school, middle school, even college, you can go, oh, that was my sophomore year, oh,
Mhm.
that was my like they had, the years have specific names, and then when you graduate you're like, was that was that 2017,
It's
or
my
is that like
first
what was
year.
2017? Like I'm sitting here like, is that the year Bowie died? Like that's how I'm like
Wow.
monitoring years at this point. Like the
Mhm.
death of celebrities lets me know what year it is. And it's actually even funnier that you meant that, because we went through, and the theme for my year this year was intention.
Mhm.
Like basically going through and doing things with intention, which I think like right now is coming to. I'm planning to live in my apartment for a lot longer than I had expected, so I'm gonna actually make it more of like a home and like actually
Okay.
drill some holes in these walls.
I watched a cool TikTok on how to fill them up, so I can help you out with that.
Good, because I have gone a little gung ho and put a lot more than I need holes, and I screwed a lot
Okay.
up today.
You drilled a lot.
Yeah, it wasn't good, dude. Like there are like 5 giant holes in my wall right now that I cannot cover up, and
Did you get
I
my
have to hire
pun?
a professional to come. No.
You said something about like you really screwed up or something, and I said you drilled.
Oh,
All right, that was when you listen to it later, you'll
what are
find.
we talking about today, Jeff?
So This typical Tuesday night, we will be breaking down track 3 off of Evermore, arguably the best song on the album, Gold Rush. We have the cute
Arguably the
little.
most number 5 song on the album.
Well, speaking of number 5, some quick facts about the song. You ranked it 5 as of our week 3
Mhm.
power rankings, which you can find on our Instagram. 5.
Yep. 5 is,
That's
dude,
pretty.
this at least, it's not bad. It's top
Mhm.
5.
Yeah. It's the bottom of the top 5, but
Bottom of the top 5. This week it was really weird because like it was a week after not listening to Evermore as much,
mhm.
so it was going based on how I felt after not listening to it.
Yeah.
It's probably gonna fluctuate again. I can almost guarantee it, and it'll probably go up higher.
It's crazy to me how this song is so polarizing. Like
Is it really?
some people hate this song, and while I was trying to do research, so I for the listeners out there, I have a very hard time ranking things, and I talked to
Oh
my
yeah.
therapist about this because I feel like, well, no, it ties into a deeper issue because I feel like I try to people please so much to the point where I try to think of what everyone else thinks and I don't trust my own opinion. But
I could
so
see that.
ranking this album was so hard. And so when I was looking on like threads about this song on Reddit, people were like, how is this not everyone's number one? This is such a great song. It gets so much hate. This is my number one. I'm like, I feel seen. I feel like
Validated.
validated in my opinion. So I felt very good that this is my number one song off the album. It's been consistent. It's just a magical song, which we'll get into later. But yes.
I do think that's interesting that like we have both been consistent in that both of our number 1 songs have stayed consistent throughout, which did not happen with Folklore.
Mhm.
I will say, I whenever we do one of these shows, the song breakdowns, I usually spend the day listening to the song that we're going to break down just in case and really ingratiate myself in the song. But with this album, it's been really interesting because what I always do is I start with "'Tis the Damn Season" and then listen to, and it's like this. I think this was number 2 at one point for me, like at some point
Yeah,
throughout our
maybe.
rankings. And "'Tis the Damn Season's been number 2 for you for a pretty long time. I think you've been pretty
Mm-hmm.
consistent with that.
It was only
I
the first impressions were, I think Nobody No Crime was first. And then I
I
think
can
our
see that.
rankings have been consistent.
Yep. And I think that's exactly how Nobody No Crime is. Like
Mm-hmm.
Nobody No Crime, it at a first glance, listen to this album. That is the clear, all right, this is the bop, this is the one that we're gonna listen to. But like you listen to it the second, that's when you pick the real number 1 for you. And I'm not gonna fault anyone whose real number 1 ended up being Nobody No Crime.
Mm-hmm.
I know a lot of true crime enthusiasts that go nuts over that song.
Mm-hmm. It's amazing. So,
It's really great. But we're talking about Gold Rush.
yes, the lyric video for this song, if you're watching on YouTube, we have a screen grab of it. It's this gold, I want to say it looks like a satin type of
It's like a
fabric.
sheet, like a satin sheet. Yeah.
Yeah, where it's just like bellowing in this wind, kind of just like moving across, sparkling with gold. So, like, kind of just gold speckles across the screen. And another quick fact is that this song has the explicit tag on it, which we love. Love a cursing Taylor. Contrarian, beep, S word. Um, so let's go into some quick context around the song as well. So, Joe, what was the gold rush? I feel like you're the history guy out of this duo.
It's so funny because when this song first, like when we got this song teased in the track listing, we were like, we did research on the Gold Rush. We're like, what could it mean? What could it
Mhm.
have been? Is this an 1800 style song? Like, is this a story song like that? And it ended up being absolutely nothing like that. The Gold Rush happened during the 1849s. During 1849, if you live in the California area, you'll know their football team is the 49ers specifically, because that is what the people. You didn't know that?
Oh,
Did you?
wait, that's so,
Yeah. Yeah, that's why they're called the 49ers, because of the gold rush.
that is such a fun fact. How did I not know that?
Okay,
23
so
years of life.
here's another
Okay.
fun one. If you live in Philadelphia, the 76ers are named after the year 1776 when the nation was founded. If you didn't actually know that,
1776. New
Devin,
York
please
City.
tell me you knew that.
No.
You didn't
I
know
don't I
that?
don't follow sports. Why would I care?
I I mean that's fair, but like
Wait, that's so
why do you
interesting.
think these like why would these numbers be a
I
thing
never
though?
I never thought to ask. I just kind of went along my day. The 76ers, that's a cool name. Do I wonder why? No.
You're like that's so weird. Like 86 is actually a verb, so I don't know why they're not using that one. The Sixers, yeah, they cut people out. That's great.
Oh. Are there any other number teams or is that there's the only
There
two?
might be. I only follow basketball and football. I don't
49.
think there's a hockey team, and
Wow.
I don't think there's a baseball team that's like that. But yeah, no, the San Francisco 49ers are named after the gold miners that rushed to California in hopes of finding gold and striking it rich. The 76ers are named after our
Yeah.
country's founding year.
Well, so yes, that is so funny. I mean, I know 1776 from Hamilton, but not from sports. Come on. Know my
You should
interest.
just know it from school.
No, I
I hope you know.
do. I do, but it's reinforced. Okay. Well, so with the gold rush, didn't they strike out as well with the
There
gold rush?
were a lot that did. There were a lot that did. There were a lot that really made it. But like that was the thing is in that time period when that happened, it was just so common. There was a lot of gold in California. California was also largely unsettled at this point.
Mhm.
There was the manifest destiny of like get Lois and Clark getting to the western side of the United States, and when they got there, there was it's just because like I said, it was largely unfounded, and there was just a lot of gold. And there were more success stories than there were failure stories. So people kept flocking. But as more people came, the law of averages, more failure stories came up.
Yes, which is important to our story that not everyone struck gold. So, what has been said about this song? So, Jack Antonoff just said a lot of things about this song because it is his favorite. Taylor said Jack's favorite off this album is Gold Rush. So he has tweeted out on December 10th, a couple, days before the album released, at 2:40 p.m., what must it be like to grow up that beautiful, Gold Rush forever?
Interesting that he did a colon.
It's just, just a formatting thing. And then he kept tweeting out like what must it be like to grow up that beautiful. I think he did like an Instagram story too where he had that and he just
It
did
was either him or Aaron did
Gold
that.
Rush. Yeah. And
Mm-hmm.
that's why I thought the song was going to be like complete. I thought it was going to be like a western type song, but no.
Mm-hmm.
And then he also tweeted out on December 11th, "Thank you to the entirety of at Bleachers Music who all played on Gold Rush. That one's for my little August heads out there, my Rushies. Into it, I am."
I hate it. I hate it so
My
much.
Rushies. I'm a Rushie.
I can't stand that
I'm a little
terminology.
August head. Oh,
Oh my god, I hate it so much. I just cringe when I hear that. And I'm sorry. It's just so he's not even a dad. You're not supposed to talk stuff like that if you're not a dad.
he looks like a dad.
He does look like a dad though. He
Got that
really
dad
does.
style. Yeah. So Taylor, when talking about the song, describes it taking place inside a single daydream where you get lost in the thought for a minute and then snap out of it. That is a very, very
Mm-mm.
important part to the imagery that the song creates, which I will break down in our music section. But continuing on, there's a lot of theories about this song. So we talked about it in our Dorothy episode where we talk about the legacy and saga of Dorothea and what songs it relates to. This was a song that we touched base on. Joe, if you want to explain that a little bit. Quick synopsis.
Yeah, so if you haven't listened to the episode, I definitely recommend going back and checking it out. I did a lot of work. But basically this song is like right at I think personally, and I might have convinced Devin, but I'm not sure, is the point where Dorothea and her lover from her hometown actually break up. Dorothea strikes it famous and becomes more than just a D-list celebrity, and he can't really take it. He doesn't enjoy it. He tries to for the beginning, and then like in the beginning of the song they are together, and then at the end of the song towards the second verse they are officially done, in my opinion. I love that. It to me that elevates the song. I like that there is a part of a narrative. It also makes complete sense because what else? I mean, yes, Taylor could be singing about herself, but why would she not be singing about Dorothea when she has two other songs about that she says are about Dorothea being a famous person?
Well, who else could this song be about? I'm glad you asked. Myself. So, a lot of people think that the song is about Harry Styles, which is also so funny because, Taylor's like, I'm so happy that I can get, fabricate all these stories up and I don't have to relate it to my life and people don't have to, connect it to me. And then people are like, Harry, it's Harry Styles.
And people
So
are like, how can we connect this to her?
the reason why is that people connect this song to him. Harry was photographed holding up an Eagles jersey at one point. The song Golden, Gold Rush, those kind of similarities there. People think that it's a women loving women song, when someone might not be quite out of the closet yet, it's having like a girl crush, all of these feelings, it could never be, stuff like that.
Here's something interesting I just found on a quick Google. Harry Styles and Kendall Jenner also went to an Eagles concert.
Mm.
The band, the Eagles, not like the
Yeah,
Philadelphia Eagles playing a concert. Though that'd be awesome.
the Eagles band.
Is he from Philadelphia? Why would he be an Eagles fan?
Harry?
I feel like I would know
British
if he
Harry?
was. Is Harry Styles British?
The X Factor. That's how they all group together. They're all from like England.
Okay, so I'm gonna get torn to shreds here, and I hate that. I don't listen to Harry Styles. I mostly listen to female pop singers. I do not listen to
I can't
many
hate
male
you for
pop
that.
singers. I was not. I know some of the famous One Direction songs, but I'm not a One Direction person, and
Harry
I'm
Styles
not.
is wonderful, but yes, okay. I will
He is.
not
Wait,
that.
he is One Direction, right?
Yes.
Oh
I said
God.
he's wonderful.
I know. I just wanted to make sure I wasn't wrong.
Yeah, no,
Oh
no.
gosh, I'm just gonna wade out of this hole
All
that I'm
right.
digging for myself. So tell me more about what is the other theory?
That was the theory. You wrote this next a little bit.
Oh my gosh, you're right. Yeah. Um, one of my favorite things that I'm starting to see, and it really showed up here again, and I'm sure there are more. I didn't delve as deep as I'd like to into this, so maybe we might do an episode on it.
Mhm.
But Taylor, of course, we know Taylor loves color ever since Red, where she really highlighted her love of color. Even before that, and still after that, there's still a lot of like references to color here. But like in the begin, like we once we hit Daylight, we kind of transition Taylor's view of love being red to love being gold. She says golden like daylight. She also like Joe's body is gold in Endgame. Your body is gold.
Mhm.
But there's something that I also noticed that's really interesting going through these lyrics. Whenever she does use the color gold, red usually isn't far behind. So like in Endgame, she goes, your what is it? Your lips are liquor, your body is gold,
It's like your eyes
and
are
then
are like currants and your body is gold.
gold, and then there's red is in the next line right after that.
But here's the truth from my red
But
lips.
my red lips. Then in Daylight, I used to think love was red, but it's gold and light. Invisible string, kind of tangentially, she references the string as being a golden string, even though in the actual
Folklore.
mythology it's
Mhm.
red. In folklore, it's red. It's red. And then here again, we get lyrics. I don't like a gold rush. I don't like my face in a red flush. Like it's so cool to see these colors in tandem, and I think it's interesting because Taylor, I think Taylor has changed red to mean a different form of love. I think Taylor for her red is now like a form of lust, which goes in tandem with love in a different way. Love is obviously a much more clean
Mhm.
approach, but you can tell by like the way that she equates it and talks about it that I think that they come hand in hand. They're like salt and pepper. Gold and red, when it comes to love and relationships, are salt and pepper. Um, and I definitely want to look through and see if there are any more. There's probably more references to gold that I missed, and I want to see if red is somewhere nearby.
Hmm. Yeah, that'd be a really cool thing to look up. All
Just
right,
a quick thing that I noticed.
quick little thing. Do you want to get into the lyrics that jumped out to us?
Let's take a quick break to hear from our sponsors first, and then we'll talk about the lyrics. I just switched it to time. I was like,
There you go.
oh no, I forget where we are. So we're at 24 minutes. So I was like, oh,
Mhm.
that's perfect. All right. So now that we're Devon, let's learn about some lyrics.
Yes. So the first lyric that just jumped out to us, you actually wrote about, but it's the line
Mm-hmm.
"Eyes like sinking ships on waters."
This is one of the things that uh is a project we have behind the scenes of this podcast. We want to just like be able to control F through Taylor Swift's entire discography, because we're starting to see like so many recurring images throughout Taylor's like discography, specifically sinking ships now. Like, it's something I didn't notice until this. Like, she is starting to reference sinking ships like every other album, not even every other album, every other song or something, it feels like. She referenced sinking ships in Willow. I'm like the water when you're ship rolled in at night. She referenced the battleships will sink beneath the waves in My Tears Ricochet. She had a reference on Reputation, gorgeous ocean blue eyes looking into mine. I feel like I might sink and drown and die. Not like ships, but like still sinking and matching with the eyes like sinking ships.
Hmm.
We get the two from 1989 that you pointed out, because when we were going through this, I was like, doesn't she say it somewhere? And you said one that was different than the one I'm thinking. You are in love and losing grip on sinking ships. You showed up just in time. And then I know places loose lips sink ships all the damn
The
time.
tongue twister.
So like, what are you doing, Taylor? What is so fascinating to you about sinking ships? Not to mention Cardigan, the music video, like having her drowning at sea. Like, there's so much reference now to water, and not just like water like in the form of a lake or a river or a puddle or a pool, but like water in the sense of like water you can sink and drown in,
Hmm.
like ocean level water. And I need to know why. Like, I'm so fascinated by this. Taylor, what happened? I haven't gone back and seen if there are any more from
Hmm.
pre 1989, but like, is there a catalyst that made you start loving this imagery and wanting to put it in more of your songs?
It's the age of
I had to
princesses
point
and
it out.
pirate ships. It's a different kind of ship, but
But
and
that's the
then
other thing that's interesting, is the age of princesses and then the age of pirate ships. She's
we're
in the
in the
pirate
age of
ships
pirate
age.
ships.
We're in the age of pirate ships. No,
Arg.
because that's perfect. Because from literally, you cannot look at Taylor Swift's self-titled "Fearless," "Speak Now," and "Parts of Red" and go, "We're not in the age of princesses." We are. But
Yeah.
now you look at folklore, you look at every at Reputation.
Hmm.
We are in the age of pirate ships. Ahoy! Anyway, um,
Oh, the next lyric that we pointed out: slow motion, double vision, and rose blush. So the way that you can interpret this line a couple different ways. You could say like wearing rose colored glasses, everything's slow. Double vision, like glasses, you have, your eyes and then the glasses. And then rose blush, just when you're seeing things with like these rose colored glasses, things are just, enhanced. Everything looks a little bit better than it really is. Kind of like in Gold Rush, you're seeing this person better than they actually might be. And everyone's kind of seeing them in this rose blush. Also, it could be if you are feeling drunk, slow motion, everything's a little, blurry and slurry, double vision. You're kind of just like seeing things. Rose blush, like your cheeks are flushed when you're drunk.
what's interesting is you don't. there isn't that far of a leap between beer goggles and rose-colored glasses.
Mm. Well, that's when they say,
They're like a weird synonym.
well, whenever you're drunk, they say that, you see things better than how it really is. Like, someone who you're not really attractive to could be the most attractive person on earth that night if you're super drunk. So it is
And
similar.
that's and it's almost, yeah, it's they're cut from the same cloth, I would say. Yeah. I love this line. Like, it's just like sonically, like
Hmm.
hearing it is so pleasing. It's such like a fun, like, I don't know if it's an iambic pentameter, but like it's just like flows so well.
The cadence of all of these lines are just such quick,
It's
rapid fire lyrics. And I feel like
This
that's
one
like a
just
Jack
stands out to
Antonoff
me
thing.
though.
Yeah. Like it's just like the
I
dun
could
dun
see
dun
that.
dun dun dun
Slow
dun
motion
dun
double
dun.
vision in a rose blush. It's
Mhm.
so good. It's so good.
And then the
No,
next
that
line,
line definitely stands out.
yep, the line right afterwards, I don't like that, or not right after, but I don't like that falling feels like flying till the bone crush. I think that is one of the best lines in the song. I cannot get over it. The
Really?
fact it's just I don't know what it is about it, but she's talking about all these romantic themes and like I don't like that falling feels like flying, like you're just soaring through the air in this love until the bone crush. Like not until the fall or not until the landing, the bone crush. Like you're fallen. It's just been so it's just such a evocative, like
Visceral. It's
visceral, yeah, like bone crush.
the pirate ship era is very violent,
The
as we learned
crossbones.
in folklore.
But just something about bone crush. Like, like I don't like
Bone
that
Crush
falling
is,
feels like flying till
yeah.
the like it's just something about the way she says
The
it,
way
the
the way
delivery.
she says it's crazy. The like the grammar for it's interesting too,
Hmm.
because it is like, I'm looking up the lyrics now. Like, you didn't like change anything. It's just till the bone crush, not till your bones crush,
Hmm.
not till my bones crush, not till my bones are crushed. Which, granted, for a song, it's gotta fit a mold and sound right, but still, like, what are you even talking about? Like, what bone is being crushed? Till the bone crush, is the bone crush a normal phenomena that happens?
Well,
But
no, it's
like,
just that falling
it,
for someone, like, falling in love feels like
no,
you're
yeah,
flying until eventually, potentially, something can go wrong and you're, plummeting to your death before you even know it until the bones crush.
I also like, I mean, it is like a nod to just like the term crush, like
Hmm.
a crush that actually just hurts,
Yeah.
because crushes can do that. uh I love, yeah, that couplet is top notch.
Hmm.
A1 steak sauce, amazing.
Oh.
I'm trying to find, like, I'm looking through what my best lyric would be, because that's what you've claimed that as your best lyric.
Hmm.
100%. I think I think my best lyric, and I'm gonna skip around a little bit here, but I think my best lyric in this one is probably "I can't dare to dream about you anymore."
Hmm.
I I can't get over it. It's not like, it's not a cadence line. It doesn't it doesn't evoke an image or anything like that. But there are some things in it, like "I can't dare to dream" is a great "Dare to dream" is an awesome uh alliteration, and it also, Dare to Dream is so funny because, like, I remember there being like something about Dare to Dream in my childhood being like a positive motivational thing, and to just like throw a negative thing in front of it, like "I can't dream about you anymore." I think that has to be my, like, if your choice of favorite is "I don't like the falling feels like flying." Jeez, her alliteration in this
Yeah.
song, man. Oh my gosh. And do you know, might not know this. What's the term for alliteration, but not for the first letter in an alphabet or in a song?
No idea.
There's a term for that. All right, anyway, keep going. Let's keep
So,
going.
yes. So the next line with your Eagles t-shirt hanging from the door, or what is it? I think it is From the Door. So apparently, I couldn't find it, but apparently she liked to tweet after Evermore was released, confirming that it was the football team and not the band she's talking about. Because Joe and I went back and forth saying, well, Eagles t-shirt, is she talking about the Eagles like the band or Eagles as in the sports team? And as Joe is an
I think it was
Eagles
really
fan.
interesting. I think like when we first talked about this, I said, "Holy crap, she's talking about the Eagles football team. Isn't that so cool?" And you were like, "Well, there's a band." And I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
"Yes, I know there's a band." But she's from Reading,
Mm-hmm.
Pennsylvania, which is not I mean it's like an hour or two away from Philly, but in Reading they're Eagles fans. And you were like, "Well, I don't know. It could be like she's a musician, Eagles
Mm-hmm.
artist." And then we kind of flipped. There was a moment where I was like, "All right, yeah," and you were like, "No, Joe, it's
Wait.
it's the it's the Eagles, it's a
Yeah.
football team."
She was photographed with the, what is it, the owner of the Eagles wearing, like, I mean, while they were
Hugh
at,
Laurie,
yeah, at the
Jeffrey Laurie,
Jeff, something like that. Yeah, you know more about sports than I do. But she was
I
photographed with
do.
him at the show, and she did wear an Eagles jersey while performing in Philly in 2017.
2011.
20, what did I say?
At
20?
Speak Now, 2017.
Oh, I can't read. 2011.
To help you out, that was my junior year of college or high school. 2017 was my super senior year of college.
Gotcha.
Camila Cabello did wear one when she came out. So during the tour, she had Charlie XCX and Camila Cabello come out during a song. I forget what the song was though. Might have been "Shake It Off." Probably
Mm,
was. And Camila was wearing an Eagles jersey that as well, which is interesting but weird. Um, I'm gonna do a quick thing before I jump into my thing about this Eagles T-shirt. The word I was looking for is an assonance. Assonance is an example of it's like an alliteration but for sounds instead of a letter.
okay.
So for the best one comes with is hear the mellow wedding bells. So like you hear like there's like similar sounds all throughout that sentence, and it like slow motion double vision in a rose blush kind of hits that for me. And then I don't like the falling feels like flying till a bone crush kind of feels
Mm,
that way to me a little bit. But
gotcha.
anyway, it might have been vaguely confirmed that she was talking about the Eagles because didn't she like the tweet
Yeah.
saying that it was confirming that it was about the football team, not the band. But Taylor is not a one trick pony, and she's not going to just make one reference. And if she can hit two birds with one stone, two eagles with one stone, she's going to. And I've been listening to a little bit of Eagles lately. I used to be a really big fan, but I'm starting to notice something with some of my favorite Eagles songs that makes me feel like did get some over the last two albums, she got some inspiration from them. Because if you go back and listen to some Eagles songs, if you don't know the Eagles, you don't listen to them, I would highly recommend them. I'm always shocked to remember that they are the best selling rock band of all time, like over Led Zeppelin, over like Rolling Stones. I don't know if they're over the Beatles, but I think they are, but I could be wrong. But if you go back and listen to a lot of their songs, it's very narrative driven songs. They are not they're kind of they're not emulating her, but like Taylor is like kind of doing the same thing now. She's
Drawing
writing about these
inspiration.
stories.
Hmm.
Yeah, so it does feel like there's definitely some inspiration. So if you go back, you listen to Hotel California is the one that everyone knows. That is a song about just a story about this person and this place and this experience they go through at this place. No one ever went to Hotel California. It's not a real place. It's not like any of that stuff, but it's just narrative that they created. But they do that all the time. They have Life in the Fast Lane is another one where they talk about like these two criminals that are on the run together. And then the one that like I really enjoy is probably one of, if not my favorite Eagles songs, is called Lion Eyes. And it's kind of it reminds you of a Taylor Swift song, or at least a folklore a style Taylor Swift song, because it is like a very narrative driven song, and it just goes through a couple of different stories about relationships. It starts with a city girl who's just marrying a rich old man for his money, but is in love with a boy who lives on the other side of town who's her age, but she needs the money to stay married to him. But there's one line when I was listening to this song the other day that reminded me of Gold Rush specifically and the story of Dorothea. It's the last song, but it goes, she gets up and pours herself a strong one, stares out the stars in the sky. Another light's going to be a long one. She draws her shade and hangs her head to cry. She wonders how it ever got this crazy. She thinks about a boy she knew in school. Did she get tired or did she just get lazy? She's so far gone, she feels just like a fool. Oh my, you sure know how to arrange things. You set it up so well, so carefully. Ain't it funny how your new life didn't change things? You're still the same old girl you used to be. And if that's not Dorothea, like, it's not. Taylor could not know about this song. I doubt that, but Taylor could not have gotten inspiration from the song or anything. But just with how much the Eagles are, in my opinion, and from what I've seen, a very narrative driven band, and lines like that and how similar they are to the stories that Taylor is telling, maybe I'm just seeing what I want to see, but I think that's awesome.
Yeah,
And then to throw an Eagles reference in here after that, like, I don't know. I'm probably grasping at straws, but I don't know. I like the straws that I'm grasping at.
definitely. That is a really interesting theory. Hmm. Good
All
stuff.
right. So the next line that we want to talk about that I think is really interesting, is, and the couplet, and then it fades into the gray of my day old tea because it could never be. That line sounds oddly familiar. Devon, like, I can't think about it. What does that line remind you of?
Well, for all my August heads out there, my little rushies, it
I
sounds
hate you so much. I hate you so much.
it sounds just like August sipped away like a bottle of wine because it was never mine. Could never
That's
be because
huge.
it was
Like, I
never
love
mine.
because it could never be. That's a pretty, like, that the couplet is almost, it's not, obviously it's not identical, but like the sentiment's the same.
Hmm.
It's very similar, and the cuz it could never be because it was never mine. That's a huge pull. That's a huge
Jack
pull.
Antonoff just copy and
Love that.
pasting. The next
So
line,
you have the next line.
yes, just just the way that she says it. My mind turns your life into folklore. Great meaning behind it. We'll talk about that in a second. But just the way that she says folklore, she sings it. We finally hear the name of T Swift 8 finally come out. Just it's what we've been waiting to hear. It's
It's
just
so
a
funny because, yeah,
feels
like,
moment.
it's like one of those, like, you're sitting in the movie theater and they say the name of the movie and you're like, that's it, that's the one. But like she kind of teases us all throughout Folklore and saying, like, turns our minds into folk songs. Like, she
Hmm.
says, like, she like dances around the word folklore as much as possible, and then finally she says it in this song. Which,
Oh,
again, like, it couples with,
yeah.
I didn't even realize I Can't Dare About You Anymore, it was on here.
Hmm.
But like that couplet, like, is one of the most powerful things, because she says that Taylor, like, mentions all the time that, like, her, I mean, I think we've said it before, Taylor's songs are a photo album of her friends, her family, her life. And that's what she's doing in these songs, is she's turning these things into folklore through her music. But also, like, and I said this in our Dora Theory episode, but when you break up with someone or you end a relationship with someone, and every time you get asked about it, every time you recount that, you're turning that person from, you're stripping them away of their humanity, and they're now just a story.
Hmm.
And that is one of the most, I don't even want to say it's heartbreaking. It is heartbreaking, but it's like weirdly uplifting too, because, like, that person's still a part of your life. They're still a story. They're still an aspect of your life, and you
Hmm.
still tell that story. It's folklore. It's your own folklore. Because no one can really call you out on it unless you're still friends with that person. But, like, it's such an interesting way that she says that, and I love that, hearing that out in a line.
Yeah, it's brilliant. It's just her mind. Too good. And then the last couple of lines that we're going to point out is just the, flipping the script on the chorus. At dinner parties, I'll call you out on your contrarian beep. Verse. At dinner parties, I won't call you out on your contrarian beep. The coastal towns we wandered round had never seen a love as pure as this. The coastal towns we never found will never see a love as pure as. It's just, I mean, we talked about it just, when we see her switch up the same line in a different way slightly, it just like is very satisfying to see. It kind of wraps and connects the story together. Love it.
She did that a lot in folklore, and yeah, like you said, we fawned over that. Every time we saw it, we had to call it out. We're like, I love how she changed this, and yeah, it. I love to see it. I hope we keep seeing it. It's one of my favorite parts. All right,
Okay.
all right. Devon, I have not even looked at these notes for this because this is Devon's. For those who have listened to us throughout the entirety of the Evermore era, everyone knows Devon's favorite song is Gold Rush. I am beyond excited for Devon to teach me about the music behind these lyrics because not only is she obsessed with the lyrics, but she is obsessed with the production of this song.
Best
So,
production.
Devon,
Oh my God.
Devon, teach me about the production of Gold Rush.
Jack Antonoff, what a man. All right. So we come in, some quick little facts. The length is 3 minutes, 5 seconds. Writers and producers, both Taylor and Jack. Get into some of the instruments on the song.
Jesus.
Crazy amount of instruments. We got violin, we got
I
synth, we
hate
got
you
a
so
slide
much.
guitar, we got Rhodes piano, regular piano, percussion, nylon string guitar, a mellotron, a horn, electric guitar, drums, celesta, which is basically, it looks like a piano. Like it's like a keyboard style, but it hits the hammers. It's like a metally sound instead.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
And it's
Bass.
spelled. I like that you put it out phonetically.
Yeah. Well, because a lot of people think it's like Celesta, but it's
That's what I would have
Celesta.
said.
Yep.
That's exactly what I would have said.
Bass, acoustic guitar, and of course, the one, the only, the background vocals. Jack Antonoff on background vocals. So we mentioned it before when Jack Antonoff tweeted about this, but the entirety of Bleachers played on this song, which I think is so cool as a Bleachers fan myself. We have Evan Smith, he's played on the horns of the song, and then Sean Hutchinson and Michael Riddleberg both played drums on the song. How cool is that to just bring your band on? Like, hey, we're gonna help out Taylor with this song. Come on in.
That's so
So cool.
weird.
Mhm. Another fun but sad fact. This is the one downer of this song. However, I don't think it downed it too much. There is no bridge.
Wait, really?
No bridge on the song. What would you clarify as the bridge?
Let me see what Genius has to say.
Genius also doesn't
No,
think
there
there's a bridge.
isn't.
Mm-hmm.
There isn't a
I think this
bridge.
is
Yeah,
the
that's right. I
one
never noticed that.
the one song on the album that does not have a bridge. But it doesn't
It
need it.
it doesn't need it at all.
The fact that this song, she describes it as a fleeting moment, I feel like it just comes as quick as it goes. Like the song doesn't feel like 3 minutes. It's like, I mean, 3 minutes is a
So
pretty quick song.
so I'm gonna go off these notes real fast and ask you a quick question.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if we haven't done an episode on it, but the way that you keep describing the song is a fleeting moment. No bridge is a big thing in it, and it's a very quick in and out kind of song. How do you think this song compares, and specifically the production of this song compares to It's Nice to Have a Friend? Because It's Nice to Have a Friend is almost the exact same thing, where there is no bridge. It's just a real quick in and out, like verse, chorus, out. But the production on that song is so
Different.
simple.
Mm-hmm.
It's very so to go from like a song like that where it's in the vein, it's in the same vein of the same idea. What do you think all of the production does on this song that elevates it?
So when you
Sorry, I'm
think
putting you on the spot
no, it's
there.
okay. When you think about a song like It's Nice to Have a Friend, it's structurally like the tempo behind it, the beats behind it, like what percussion is driving it. It's very simple. It's very like 1, 2, 3, 4, like very just
Mm.
repetitive, really doesn't deviate a lot. Whereas this song has a lot of chaos to it, where there's like a beat switch in the middle of this song that we're going to talk about. And just the dynamics of the song, the introduction of these quick moments of like, we're gonna throw violin in your face real quick, and then we're going to take it away, and these moments of silence just to like bring in the music again. Like it's just the dynamics and the introduction and subtraction of these, what's the word, just of sounds. Like these sounds are just coming in and out, whereas in It's Nice to Have a Friend, the entire time it is the same exact, like I feel like when you're producing the song, with maybe a couple exceptions of I think the horn part where it goes
Yep.
and It's Nice to Have a Friend, I think that's the only part really where it deviates that I can remember off the top of my head.
That's the bridge.
Yeah,
The horn is the bridge.
it could be.
I think it's interesting too because that song isn't billed as like what you said, like a daydream or whatever. And when you are daydreaming, if you're like me and have ADHD, that daydream goes from this to this to this to this and branch and jump and gets a million different thoughts. And that kind of is reflected in this production of all of these different, like you said, a violin comes in and then it's gone. And it just changes up in all these different things. And that's how your mind works in a lot of ways.
Yes, we'll
Sorry to
talk.
throw that in there.
No, it's
Continue.
okay.
Teach me more.
Okay, yeah. Just one last note on that before we go away. It's nice to have a friend. I feel like you're stuck in the moment of thought the entire time, whereas with this song, you have the contrast of you're going about your day, you know, your anxieties, your stresses, whatever, and then you're pulled in and you kind of just like your head's in the clouds for a minute and you're snapped back to reality. It's that difference between the reality and the daydream that really complements this song, whereas in the other, it's just one consistent thought process, in my opinion.
Yep. I think that's a great way to describe that.
Thank you. So, like I said, lots of instruments on the song. Holy moly, it is a production heavy song. So many instruments. I would love to see the mix on this and like where it goes. I actually didn't listen to the song with headphones in like a fool because I feel like I would love it 10 times more, but I already love the song, so it would just go too high. So if you have listened to us before, you've heard about a little terminology I like to call the Jack Antonoff scoop, where you take a little vocal line. I'm trying to think. I was so ahead of the
Getaway
curve.
car. Getaway.
Yeah. And the getaway car. I'm trying to think of the line.
Getaway car is the one you
before.
always do. I forget what it, oh my gosh.
Before it hit you like a shotgun shot to the heart. What's the line before that?
We're gonna have to cut that.
Yeah. Oh my God. Why
I
am
can't remember what it was because that was, yeah, Getaway car is like the de facto. We knew it from the first old fashioned We Were Cursed.
Yes. Okay, that was it. So Jack Antonoff scoop, you can hear it in Getaway Car. I knew it from the first old fashioned We Were Cursed. It's like such a Bleachers thing, such a Jack Antonoff thing. And this could be a stretch, but the way that she emphasizes gold and red in this song, just I don't like a gold rush, like it's like a very slight scoop in a red flush. It's like just a little deviation.
It's that gold red connection.
Percussion carries this song. So at the very beginning, you really don't hear any percussion. It's just these like strings just bellowing like in the wind. And then So Inviting, I almost jump in, and then boom, 2, 3, 4, very steady beat until after the first chorus. And she goes back into the second verse that I don't like a gold rush. And then the beat comes back in, but it's this little deviation where instead of 1, 2, 3, 4, it's 1, 2, 3, and 4, 1, 2, dot, dot, dot. And it just like adds a little bit of a step in or pep in your step, basically. It's not every line, but just the addition of that little like dun is really cool. The song's in A major, and this song is a copy and paste of Greenlight, and that's why I love the song so much. So I didn't understand.
Elaborate on that.
Yes, I did not realize this. I'm going to give all of the credit to Ella Jane Music on TikTok. Love you. Love all of your stuff on TikTok. You answered the question I didn't even know was a question. So in this song, it sounds like there's a key change because she goes, but I don't like a gold rush. What must it? And just, it sounds like you're shifting and you're like, why does it sound so different? It must be a key change. That's what I thought it was. I think that's what you thought it was too, but it's not. It's not. it's it switches modes. So it switches from just like the standard major scale to this mixolydian mode. And with the green light, which
What?
so I'm going to explain that in a second. But Green Light by Lorde does the exact same thing. I think she either found or she made a mix of both songs going back in, like, back to and fro. But the part where she goes, um, I know what you did. She thinks, oh, wait, but those great whites say have big teeth. And she does that little line when we kissed on the light up floor, and it goes, but I hear sounds in my mind. That's the
Yeah.
same shift. And it sounds like you're switching into a different key, but it's just this mixolydian mode switch over. So quick little definition. So the mixolydian mode is the fifth mode of the major scale, as it is derived from the fifth note of the major scale. So it's sometimes referred to as the dominant scale because the fifth degree of the major scale is called the dominant. To really just dumb it down, to play the mixolydian scale, you can play all the white keys from G to G on a piano. So instead of doing like I was talking to you about before, where you do whole step, half step, whole step, half step, you just play all of the keys through. So it would be like da na 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 na. I can't do it by ear, but it just like it steps basically half down a step. So in A major, you have A, which the song is in A major. So it's A, B, C sharp, D, E, S sharp, G sharp, A. And what the
Okay.
Mixolydian mode does is it takes that seventh note in the scale, which would be that G sharp, and it just brings it down half of a tone. So instead of being G sharp, it's G. And that's, and you're
That's
funny, but it's the one
this
difference.
no, this is like rocket science to me.
Mhm.
This is insane.
So really
So
just that
I,
one shift in note from a G sharp to a G. It's the only difference, but it sounds
makes that whole
so.
difference.
Mhm.
All right, so outside of mean, median, and mode, I've never heard of a mode. So what in terms of so we're talking about the I just want to say this word, but I'm afraid I'm gonna say it wrong. Mixolydian?
Yep,
Dude, that's such a satisfying word to say.
it is.
I encourage all of our listeners go around your house and just say Mixolydian a lot. What is a mode though? Like, what?
So modes kind of tie in with scales. So you can have, a major scale. I believe there's different types of scales too, like diatonic versus something else. I want to say pentatonic, but that's the that's
That's
what
the
we're all
band.
thinking. Yeah. So modes are basically it's a type of scale, but it has a specific set of like characteristic melodic behavior. So there's like
Okay.
Dorian mode, Lydian mode, Mixolydian mode, just all these different types of it basically just defines how you take a scale. Like I said, like A major, the only difference was that that seventh note is brought down half a scale. It basically takes the scale and just changes certain little details to it.
It just blows my mind that
Mhm.
there are people in this world that just know this stuff. That just like know that if they take this one note in a scale, bring it down, it still works. It changes the song. It adds this layer.
Composers are
Like
crazy talented.
like and it's that's the thing that's so nuts is like you look at a composer and you're like, oh, he just yeah, that sounds good, he made a thing that sounds good, that's cool,
Mhm.
but like just to understand the science behind how that sounds, uh, it's just it absolutely blows my mind.
The way that you can
Like this
influence
is
how someone feels about a song, like creating a sense of, being uneasy because you're not on that home note. Like, you ever listen to a song and it just doesn't resolve and you're like, I hate this so much. The song
yep.
never resolved. It just doesn't sound good. That's all just like theory and composition.
That's why this is like one of my favorite parts of this entire show because I just get to learn about this stuff that in another life I would have loved to dedicate that whole life to. If I was a cat and I had 9 lives, I would put 2 of them towards music theory because it's just such a fascinating. Ugh. Anyway,
Music theory is hard.
sorry to take you
That's
off
why
on
I
a
did
tangent there.
business. um, So the last little note I will make about the production of the song, like I said before, this song Taylor describes as a fleeting moment where you get lost in a moment in time. The production demonstrates and illustrates just that. So the entire song, the beginning of it, you have these, beautiful, like daydreamy type strings, a very common theme in music too, as well. You'll see it in a lot of classical music. When you have these like flying strings that come in, like you think of the typical love trope where it's like
Mm-hmm.
like that. I think flute is paired along with it, I want to say. But that is just the standard. Like if you want to demonstrate what love sounds like, that's what you use. So you have these strings at the beginning just coming in and gleaming, twinkling, eyes like sinking ships on water. So inviting, I almost jump in. Like that in itself is a little bit of a daydream. And then you get snapped into this beat, like the steady, I don't like a gold rush. And I think that is, your everyday life. You're going about it, you're thinking about it, overthinking about it potentially, just like, I don't want to like you, but, I don't like a gold rush and all this stuff. And I don't, the way that she writes the song is all in negatives. Like, I don't like a gold rush. I don't like
Mm-hmm.
anticipating this. I don't like that falling is flying till the bone crush. Everybody wants you. Like, she has this really negative view. Like, you're trying to like talk yourself out of it. And like, but I don't like a gold rush. And then all of a sudden, you're snapped into that daydream about, well, what if it did work out? What must it be like to grow up that beautiful, um, I see you padding across my wooden floor. When we go out to these coastal towns, we're doing all these great things. So that little switch over from, but I don't like a gold rush, and you get these strings come back in, that mode of love. It sounds super bright. It sounds like you're flying, basically. Um, but then you get the end of the chorus, what is, but it fades into the gray of my day old tea, because it could never be. And you hear those strings kind of like slowly fade out until you're back at that, but I don't like a gold rush, when really the instrumental is stripped back a lot until that beat comes in, and then it all kind of like hits you back again. But the strings are really utilized in the chorus because strings, violin is that trope of love. When you hear it the most, I would say, is probably going into the second chorus, because it starts to creep more and more. So you can argue that in the
Mm-hmm.
first chorus, like, going about your day, and then you just have this moment where that's all you're thinking about, you quickly snap out of it. But then the second chorus, she's kind of repeating the same lines. It's, I think, pretty much the exact same as the first verse, except
Mm-hmm.
for one line. But the strings slowly and slowly creep up, and you hear it, and it's swelling until it finally engulfs you, and you daydream again. But it's this daydream that's not as sweet, because then she goes, I can't dare to dream about you anymore, because it's
Mm-hmm.
taking over me so much. And it's just, my mind turns you into this folklore now.
You know what it reminds me of? With everything you just said about like the strings, the intro, and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It reminds me of like those old TV shows like Boy Meets World or something, where like Corey would go, "Do you remember?" And then you would get like those strings that go doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo, and like the screen would fade and it would go into a memory, and then when he comes back, it would doo-doo-doo-doo-doo.
Like the
Like
little
that's exactly what.
transitions.
Yeah, like that's
Mhm.
exactly what I get from the intro and the outro of the song. Is like, because she wraps it in like these bookends of gleaming twinkling eyes like sinking water and ships so inviting I almost jump in. Those are
Mhm.
like the bookends of the song. And that's the thing that's so weird to me about this song is the intro and the outro are, I remember when I first heard it, and I was like, the first three lines I was just like, I don't know if I'm into this song. And then it switches into, oh, I'm into this song.
Mhm.
Like I don't really care about the intro or the outro, but like knowing like what it's doing and knowing why it's there, and it's what it's, like I said, it's basically it is that transition
Mhm.
into a daydream, and that transition out of a daydream,
Yep.
and knowing that like it serves that purpose is insane for me, because it's so airy. It's like the
Mhm.
gleaming twinkling, like you just feel yourself falling back into a daydream.
Yeah. And the outro is so quick with it too. Like as soon as that's
Mm-hmm.
over, I almost jump in. Dun dun done. That's it. There's no like no slow fade away. It's just snap out of it. You're done.
This is
Oh, I love this song so much.
Dude, I'm
Oh,
so excited because the next song breakdown, we're gonna have me doing the exact same thing.
oh my God. Both of us. I mean, that's my number two song.
All right, so do we have anything we want to say in closing? Obviously, we went long on this one. Number one songs we're gonna go a little bit long on. You got nothing?
What else could I
This
say?
song is great. This song is great. This album is amazing. Like we're gonna say it at the end of every episode. This album is just
Hmm.
it's still good a month later. Like I'm still listening to it. I still don't skip songs. Like that's insane to me. Like even like I think my rankings had happiness at the bottom and I still don't skip that song when it comes on.
You better not.
I definitely don't. And it's a shame that it's that low. It shouldn't be that low.
Hmm.
I really stumped it. All right. But if you guys you hear, if you guys like this show, you like the song breakdowns that we talk about, please be sure to give us a review on Apple. Everywhere I'm reading online about podcasts is that is the bread and butter to help grow a podcast. So it is the nitros that we need to continue making this show grow. So if you like what you hear and you're on an iPhone or in the iTunes music store, give us a 5-star review and just write a quick review for us. It really helps us. Tell a friend about us too. If you have a friend that really likes Taylor Swift, if you have a theory about Taylor Swift and we do up on it and they disagree with you, pull this video up on YouTube, pull this podcast up and go, see, they believe me. And make us, we'll fight your
My
battles. We
two
got this.
friends, Devon and Joe, talked about this for an hour. So watch it. We'll claim you as a friend. It's okay. We're all friends
Got you.
here. So make sure to follow us on social media and subscribe to our YouTube channel if you want to see our lovely, beautiful faces on here and our fun little backgrounds. We are primarily mostly on Instagram. That is the best way to reach us, if not on YouTube as well. We are at We Need to Calm Down Podcast. On Twitter, we are WNTCD Podcast.
If you guys have a suggestion for an episode, right now we're in a lot of song breakdowns, but we always like to sparse them out. So if you have what you want us to talk about, if you heard a theory, if you have just something that you've always wondered about Taylor Swift that you think we should do a deep dive in, drop us a comment, drop us a DM on Instagram. We love hearing from you guys, and those episodes get made.
Yes. Well, thank you so much for listening to the We Need to Calm Down podcast. We will see you next typical Tuesday. Be safe. Come back.
We'll be here.